It is finally our game day preview for the BYU Cougars from your Saluki radio crew. Alongside the coach Pat Poore, Mike Trude, I am Luke Martin. Finally game day, fellas. We get to talk about this. It's been coming for a long time. And Mike, this is of course a BYU football program that has so much great tradition, so much great history. They've lost their last 5 games last year after starting off 5-2, just one win away from bowl eligibility. So you know the Cougars under Coach Satake is going to be really hungry.
Yeah, they are starving to get this year going again. It's kind of a renewal for them. Not sure who's going to be the quarterback, but the guy who ended the season last year, Retzlaff, started 4 of those final games, lost them all, but played pretty well. Had a good fall camp, we understand. So I think Retzlaff probably believes that he has the lead going into the ball game, and yeah, they want to start out with a win.
Coach Poore, these are games that Southern is not unfamiliar with in terms of going up against now known as the Power Four. You do combine the last 2 most attended football games over the last 2 years for Southern. They don't even equate to 40,000 people. There's going to be close to probably 60,000 or more in the building on Saturday night. Just how unique will it be, just this opportunity to be in this type of environment for SIU?
Well, I think it's a big moment for guys because you want to play in those environments, you want to play in those games, but you also, our program at this point, it's about the process. We've been there. We've been ahead at halftime probably the last 6 or 7 of these type of matchups and won 2 in a row. So that kind of bodes itself towards our process. It's not bigger than the moment right now. And I think a big thing is that guys go into this ball game not feeling like they have to play a Super Bowl type game, but just be us.
Let's get to the offense for BYU. You mentioned the quarterback battle, Mike. Obviously, Retzlaff and Gary Bohannon have been going at it. They returned 7 of their top 8 wide receivers from last year. They returned their leading rusher and L.J. Martin, an offensive line that's led by Connor Pay, who's an All-American at center. They've had an offensive lineman drafted, I believe, in 3 straight NFL drafts, so they've had a ton of talent up front. What stands out about the Cougar offense?
The offensive line is huge. 315 across the line minimum, and for BYU to be effective, to allow that running back to get some holes, the line has got to beat the Saluki's defense, and that's the key for them. Their wide receivers are good. They're not overwhelmingly great. The running back is a good running back, but again, he's got to have some holes to run through.
When you look at their offensive terms stylistically, Coach Poore, they had 4 position players in their career that have thrown a pass, which means some trickery can be involved with Coach Roderick, their offensive coordinator. How much of that do you have to be alert of from a coaching standpoint of how trickery has been known within their offense?
Yeah, I thought through camp there is a lot of familiarity with our offense and their offense in terms of it being spread and multiple. And, obviously that's part of the process this week and through camp is, you're checking all those boxes, your adjustments to changes in personnel. And, hey, this guy in the ball game has thrown a pass, hey, this is their reverse guy, those type of things. But, ultimately, again, to me, it comes down to, doing what you do and being able to make maybe some in-game adjustments and do that on the fly.
Switching over to the defense, their defensive coordinator, Jay Hill, was the head coach at Weber State when Southern played Weber in the spring of 2021 in the postseason. And you look at their defense, Tyler Batty, no question, their team captain, going to lead it on the defensive side. And then Jack Kelly, who's a transfer from Weber State, had an outstanding career at Weber. He's going to be an impact transfer for the Cougars on defense.
Yeah, their defensive line is good. Nelson is also on that defensive line. The linebackers are really good. They'll fill gaps. They'll make plays. The Saluki offense, with its diversity, hopefully can cause some problems. They can be a little bit quicker. I like our 2 wideouts against anybody this year, man-to-man, if they want to go man-to-man. I can't wait for that first couple of series to see how each team settles in against the other team's defense.
Mike kind of alluded to it. Stylistically, Coach Poore, how similar is how Coach Hill had his defense at Weber to now being at BYU?
Fairly similar. It seems like they're playing a little bit more man cover 1. Obviously, they have some confidence and trust in their corners and those guys in the back end, and that lends itself to turning loose that good front. If they can create pressure with 4-man fronts, if not, they're gonna, they're a back or pressure team, and it'll be interesting to see how we handle situations. Obviously, third and longs and those blitz types, down in distances, how we hold up and handle that and attack that.
BYU, they are 18-0 all-time against FCS competition. They have won those games by an average score of 48-10. But also part of that is 15 of those 18 wins that they've had came against FCS teams that did not make the postseason. Guys, we know what the standard is for Southern. They want to be a team that gets into that postseason play. And as you alluded to, Coach Poor, out of the 8 FBS games that Coach Hill has been a part of as a head coach, 7 of them, they've either been tied or had a lead at halftime. The lone game they didn't was the game against Arkansas State. But this has been a team that's been a Saluki program that takes a lot of pride in these games. As you just look to it come Saturday night, what's the biggest keys from your standpoint, Mike, of if the Dogs want to walk away, what would be their 3rd straight FBS win? How do they get it done?
I mean, it's kind of cliche. You have to win the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. You can't give up chunk plays, 20, 25-yard plays. And special teams. You can't give up big plays against you on special teams, and you have to make the plays you can make on special teams.
And Coach Poor, you look at the 5 FBS wins that Coach Hill's been a part of as a head coach or player. Southern's won the turnover margin by +10 in those games. They've forced 14 turnovers. They've only turned it over 4 times. Only 1 interception thrown in those 5 wins. How critical will that be in this game?
Yeah, the key word to me is just execution. Just doing what we do, and then obviously critical errors. When the thing's over, those 5 or 6, when they happen, doesn't matter, but they have an impact on ending a drive with a touchdown or a turnover, and that's every game. That's huge, and just establishing. It's not like we're running a new offense. We're several years into this 9 with Coach Hill, and it's a machine. It's just we got to go out and be us and execute.
Previews are done. Tomorrow is game day, Saluki Nation. Been waiting a long time to say that. Your Saluki radio coverage with all 3 of us will begin tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for pregame, 7 o'clock central kick for the Cougars and Salukis. Football is back in Southern Illinois, and look forward to bringing it to you all season long. For my partners, Coach Pat Poor, Mike Trude, I am Luke Martin. We will talk to you all tomorrow night from Provo, Utah. Go Dogs.